Hi guys! Today I'm doing a product review on a new foundation, new to me anyway, and it's the YSL Touche Éclat Foundation, Illuminating Foundation, Dimensional Radiance, Weightless Perfection. This is obviously what the packaging looks like. Now this is my very first review, and I know that a lot of people do first impressions. I personally am not a huge fan of first impressions, only because I want to be able to provide you with the best review I possibly can. So I want to test the product quite a few times, quite a few different ways, and really break down to you how I feel like the product works best and all that fun stuff. So I'm thinking about calling the series of reviews, I'm thinking about calling them full reviews rather than first impressions, because it's not a first impression. But if you have a better name for them, please let me know, because I've been struggling trying to figure out the perfect, the right name for these reviews. So anyway, I've worn this foundation a total of four times, 4 different ways. And I'm going to tell you pros and cons. Now, this is what it looks like. This is the bottle. It's in a nice glass bottle. It comes with a pump, which I really, really love. The color I have it in is it's BD50, so I'm guessing it's just 50. Now this, it claims to be a luminous, weightless foundation, and I couldn't agree with it more. It's definitely luminous, it's definitely lightweight on the skin, but in my experience, I'm going to tell you pros and cons. And one of the cons is that and I don't have oily skin, I have normal to somewhat dry skin, and this to me is a little bit too luminous. It leaves my skin feeling really oily. Now, I'm going to talk about this by itself before I tried anything with it, any primer. I felt like it wore off in a matter of a couple hours. If I put my finger on my face like this, it would literally come off right on my finger. It's just not something that can be worn on its own, in my opinion. It definitely needs a really, really good base, a really good primer. And so by itself, it was an absolute no-no. It came off right away. It went on way too oily. It definitely needs to be set. And I took it off right away. Within a couple of hours, I couldn't take the feeling of it anymore. It just looked so oily, and it was not for me. So the next time I tried it, now I used 3 pretty popular primers that a lot of people seem to have in their collection. So that's what I used it with. The first primer I used it with is the MAC Prep and Prime Skin Base primer, and I have to say this was a bad combination. Again, this is way, way, way too oily. I think this primer is a really good primer for someone who has dry skin or on top of a matte foundation or somewhat of a matte foundation. This primer is really, really good underneath my my Estee Lauder Double Wear or underneath my Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo foundation. This primer is fantastic because it does provide a little bit of luminosity, but underneath a foundation that already has its own luminosity, not a good idea. It came off. I kept it on for about 4 hours before I literally just had to take it off because my blush and my bronzer, they were just all over the place. And that's another thing. With this combination, there is no way that I could even properly blend out my bronzer and my foundation, because it was sliding all over the place, and it just looked like I had a big streak and a big blob on my cheek because I couldn't blend it. So I wouldn't use it with the MAC Prep and Prime underneath at all. The second primer, the third time I tried it, the second primer I tried is the Tart Clean Slate Poreless 12-Hour Primer. Now this is one of my all-time favorite primers. I absolutely love the way that it looks. I love the way it makes any foundation look, and I did really enjoy the combination. Although this is definitely not a foundation I would wear all day, because I do tend to feel oily throughout it, after a few hours of putting it on, and it's definitely not something I would ever use when I'm filming for Laura in the Kitchen. This is a really good combo to wear if you're going on a night out and you're going to be taking a lot of pictures, just because the foundation photographs really, really well. Now, I have to say that I did top it with my Laura Mercier, this is just a translucent setting powder, the translucent loose setting powder. I topped it, so I used these 3, and it did work really well. It looked really beautiful. It does take a long time to set on the skin. It's not something that you can put on and then immediately go on with powder and bronzer. You need a good 10 minutes for this to dry on top of your primer before you go ahead and top it with any powder. So these three together, I felt like it was a really good combo. Great for a night out. No more than about 4 hours before I was ready to take it off because I just felt really, really oily. Now, the last primer I used it with, and it's what I'm wearing today. I used it with the Benefit Stay Flawless 15-hour primer. This little thingamajig here. You know, you rub it all over the face and you blend it in. Now, personally, and then I also topped it with my Laura Mercier. Personally, I feel like this was the best combo. I've had it on since maybe about 12 o'clock, and it's about 6 o'clock now. I've had it on since about 11:30, and it's about 6 o'clock now. So I've had it on for almost 6 hours, and I feel like it looks pretty much the same as it did when I first put it on, except I do need to blot because I feel really oily here, and here, and even on my cheeks I feel a little bit oily. And I didn't film for Laura in the Kitchen today, and I wasn't out in the heat, so I think that's just the foundation. I did top it with my Laura Mercier, like I mentioned, and I felt like it gave me a really beautiful canvas. It's light to medium coverage. You can build it to medium, but it is light coverage. It's not something that's full coverage, so if you have a lot of pigmentation problems with your skin or any scarring, I wouldn't recommend it because it's not going to cover them up. It's just really meant to be more like of a skin finish, luminous. I mean, it's a beautiful finish, and it's definitely something I would wear on a night out for just a few hours to a nice dinner or just a really nice place, and I want to look beautiful and take pictures and whatnot. This is definitely, or an event, this is definitely a good foundation for that. But as far as everyday wear, not the best. I mean, it's also really pricey. I believe it's $58. It's around that price range. It's a little bit pricey, and you get 1 fluid ounce. And there is, let's see, sunscreen broad spectrum SPF 19, which is good. So overall, the pros is that it is a beautiful luminous foundation for someone with dry to normal skin. I would only wear this for about 4 to 5 hours max, and I wouldn't wear this all day. I definitely wouldn't wear this in the summertime because it will melt off your face, and I wouldn't wear this if I had any pigmentation problems with my skin or any scarring or anything like that because it won't cover it. Also, you know, it's not going to last on the skin a very long time. Like I mentioned, maybe 5 hours at the max before you really start to feel like you want to just take off your makeup because it just feels oily, and you start to feel hot, and it just, you can touch it and you can feel it that it's just not holding up very well. So if you're going to a special event, if you're having a lot of pictures taken and you really want to splurge, I definitely say go for it. If you have oily skin, I say you run the complete different direction of this thing because this is just not going to be for you. But for all, you know, my normal to dry skin girls out there, this is definitely a go. For special events, like I mentioned again, and I really think that this is going to be beautiful in the winter. I'll keep you updated on that. But as for now, yeah, I have to say I like it with this primer, topped with my Laura Mercier. I think it's beautiful. So that is my review. I hope that I made some sort of sense. Keep in mind this is my very first one, and like I mentioned, if you have any names that you think I should call these reviews, oops, I got stuck there. Do let me know in the bottom bar, in the comments down below. Because like I said, first impressions just aren't for me, only because I want to provide you with every little tiny bit of detail of information that I possibly can. And for everyone asking, on my lips, I have Maybelline Blissful Berry. That's what I have on my lips today. Anyways, my necklace is from Shop Lately. I don't know if they still have it or not, but anyway, so that's my review. I hope that you found this helpful. And if you want me to review foundations, powders, whatever, leave them in the comments down below. I would absolutely love to bring you weekly reviews on beauty products or whatever product you want. So I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.